Morning everyone, we're here at the job site. Behind me we have the aftermath of land clearing that was just done and left as a mess with all this timber slash behind me. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the mulcher, the Shear X mulcher with the planer knife tooth, and we're going to be doing a test comparison today between the planer tooth, which is on the mulcher now. Let's take a look at it. The planer tooth, as you can see, as the rotor spins, the tooth comes down, encounters the wood, and it cuts it like a knife. So that's what we're going to be utilizing to mulch up a lot of this material. One problem that you can encounter is all of these large tree stumps. And there was another contractor that came here that bid on this job, and he said that he can clean up all the timber slash but wouldn't be able to work on the stumps. So what we're going to be doing, actually, since we have one of the most powerful machines on the market, the ASV 135, mated with the HM70SR mulching head, we're going to be testing out the new Shearex Carbide tooth. This tooth is very special. Let's take a close look. So unlike its brother, the Carbide tooth has these teeth that are on the end. These teeth are made out of carbide, and they are supposed to be lasting about 300 hours, which is about twice as long as the planer tooth in the background. Some of the benefits to this is being able to use the carbide tooth in rocky soils, but also being able to bury the tooth a little bit longer in sandy soils without getting dull. And we're going to test it out on these stumps today, and we're going to do a side-by-side comparison. We're going to be testing out the carbide tooth on a stump, and we're going to time it, and also on a log, and we're going to time it. We got these large stumps right here. This stump is probably 2 feet in diameter. Okay, we've got both of the logs that we're going to go ahead and test out. They're pretty identical in size. This one is a tiny bit smaller than this one, but we're going to go ahead and cut this one with the knives and time it, and then we're going to cut this one with the carbides once we change them out. That one took us 5 minutes. All right, well, it's taken us about 1 hour and 10 minutes, and that's good. It used to take us 4 hours, then it took us 2 hours, and now we're down to about an hour to swapping out a set of teeth. These are the hammers, the carbides, which are nicknamed hammers, but if you take a look, they're more actually like pickaxes in my opinion. We're going to go ahead and torque these down to 532 foot-pounds just for cheap insurance. here we go. We're gonna go ahead and mulch up this log. And I'm curious, this is the first time running the Shearex hammer. It took us 9 minutes to grind up that one. Good morning, we're back at the project, and today we're going to be using the Shearex Carbide hammers to attack this 24-inch stump. We're going to see how long it takes to do. This was also clear cut about a year ago, so these stumps have been drying out a little. They're not rotten, but they are dry. So that took 9 minutes to get that 2-foot stump. We've counted the rest of the stumps that we have on site. There's about 14, 15 stumps, and at about an average of 9 minutes is going to be more on the high end because they're all smaller than that one. So I'm estimating that it's probably going to be taking us maybe about an hour and a half to complete this. But what's really nice about the carbides is that you can really gnaw away at the stump. With the planer knife teeth, the head will stall more easily because it tries to take a big bite out of the stump and stalls the head, and it's really hard on it. And you know, you really want to get the carbides if you're going to be gnawing on stumps. So the product that it puts out is very nice, as you can see here. It's very loamy and in consistency, and you can see the teeth and how it gnaws away at the stump in these little grooves. Unlike the planer knife teeth, it just takes too big of a bite. So we're really able to bury the head down into the ground and get it more level than we would if we had the planer knife teeth. As I was saying, maybe the planer knife teeth, in my experience, you know, you'd be able to get a couple stumps pretty level. But once you start to get down to the base where there's a lot of sand and there's a very large surface for those planer knife teeth, it really just dulls them very quickly. So this is great for all this timber slash that's dried up, stumps that are dry, and you can really blast through it. So I'm really satisfied with the teeth, and they say we'll get about 300 hours out of them. Folks, that's it. We're all settled up here and it's looking fantastic. I'm very satisfied with the Shearex Carbide teeth. They were really able to get those stumps lower to the ground than the planer knives, and it just has a great finished product, especially when that material is dry. And let's take a look.